Super happy to be back home after a really kind of cool trip to Winnipeg, meeting a lot of great people there, and doing this Prairie Comics Festival. So I didn't pick up as much stuff as I usually get at these things. Usually, I'm able to do a bit more, a lot more trades. But on this trip, I had some shipping woes with my materials. So I was at the Prairie Comics Festival with only about a third to a half, about half of the stuff that I should have had. So yeah, definitely. I don't have as much stuff as I often show after these, but it's good. We're gonna have a real nice, snappy show on this one, hopefully, and we're gonna get right into the action here. So I've got a stack of stuff here. Cool thing about this Prairie Comics Fest in Winnipeg is I did some trades with people with attendees who were there, not just other artists that were there, as other artists who were just attending the show, which I love because personally, I like showing up to markets, even ones I'm not exhibiting in, with a backpack full of stuff to do trades. I just love trading art for art. So let's make our way through here. As you see, we've got some cool stuff in here. We've got a couple of books to talk about as well, and all sorts of stuff. But first, let's talk about the Prairie Comics Fest. I picked this up. This is a cool. This is based on the artwork that Rael did. And they made a cool coloring page that people could pick up. So I managed to snag one of those at the end of the show because there were still a few left over for attendees. So I grabbed one before I went. So Prairie Comics Festival has been going on since around 2016. It's a volunteer run organization that have some really cool people a part of it. People like Scott Ford and Sam Bieko. Probably saying that wrong. Let's see. There's Mike from Iron Buddha. There's Greg Chamachuk, and just a bunch of really great volunteers putting this stuff together. It seems to be getting better and better every year. This was my first opportunity to do the Prairie Comics Fest in Winnipeg, but I really enjoyed it. And my friend Ryan, who I caught a ride with from Saskatoon, who's also a comics creator, and we'll be looking at some of Ryan's stuff in a little bit, said this was probably the best year that they had done in terms of the organization, the size of the show, the scope of the show. So man, I'd love to go again next year if logistics work and if I have all my material with me. I think I'd have a really good show. I had a pretty good show with what I had with me. So I think if I had everything that we have to offer, I'd have a really good show. So Prairie Comics Fest, pretty cool. It was at the, what I like about shows of this kind of scope, things like TCAF and VanCAF, that's the Toronto Comic and Art Festival and Vancouver Comic and Art Festival, like the Prairie Comics Festival, they're a little bit more of like a literary show. It's they're at libraries. So this one was at the main downtown branch called the Millennium Library downtown Winnipeg. And I think that's great because I think libraries should be used in this way. I think I've always looked at libraries as these public spaces that are meant to be enjoyed by the public and meant to bring people and creators together if it can. They're meeting spaces for your public. They're not just a place to go study. They're not just a place to go take out a book. They should be a meeting place. So I like that. I think it's very good. So Prairie Comics Fest. Let's take a look now. What we're going to do is we're going to delve into three pieces I have here that I actually got from attendees, doing trades with attendees that were there, and which was super cool. I like that quite a bit. This first one here was handed me by a very nice creator. The reason they were putting together these zines to trade is they were going to a rally for Palestine after and said, oh, I brought this here because I know there are people in this room who might want to be a part of this rally and can't. So yes, this piece here, um, they said just a nice little piece, and so I handed them some of my zines in return because I always believe very strongly in trading art for art. So this is how to wash your, now am I going to say this right? Probably not. The kufia, your traditional Middle Eastern scarf, how to wash it, and the deliberate care for delicate things. It's just a very cute little 4-page zine to just teach you how to care for your delicate things like this scarf. Cold water and half a teaspoon of detergent. Soak it for 10 to 20 minutes. And then unroll it and air dry it out of the direct sun to maintain its color vibrancy. So yeah, that's cute. I like this kind of idea. This doesn't really, it's not here to tell you much more than that. It's just a nice little thing to hand out. And it was nice to meet that person and hear what they were about. Cute. It's very cute. This one here is quite exciting. So I met Zastre, and what they have done, I think this is a very exciting project that they've been undertaking, doing interviews with Indigenous Canadians, particularly in Winnipeg, and just asking them questions about how can we be better settlers? How can we be a part of the way that we can all work together for things like reconciliation, moving forward in a way that we are all doing it equitably and mindfully. It's called Be a Better Settler, My Journey. So it's interviews that they did from 2022 into late 2023 with 16 different folks. And then these beautiful illustrations, these portraits that they've done of the people that they met with. Talks about who the person is and what they're advocating for, and if they've mentioned something about, how can we as settlers in Canada be a part of that action. It's pretty amazing. Like here's a part here for an interview with Candy from the Lakota Nation. When asked if she had any advice for a settler like me, she said, to become educated, not just with books, but go to elders, go to knowledge keepers, go to ceremonies with them. And it's okay to say, you know what, I'm not sure what to do or how to do this. I'm learning, please be patient. And then offer a small gift of or tobacco. That's the kind of dialogue that's really, really quite amazing to have. So I was very excited to meet Zastre and talk about this because I think this is a great project, beautiful artwork, and great writings about the conversations that they've had with these folks. Really quite amazing. It's a hell of a project. I'm glad to have this in my hands. Over to my side here, you can always follow the people I'm talking about off to the side here. So if you wanted to find out more about this here or see more work that they've done, or if you say, hey, this is my favorite artist of the week, give them a follow. This one's a little quick one. I did just a business card swap with an absolutely wonderful young lady. She must have been about 10 years old, 10, 12, 14, somewhere in there. Young kid by the name of River, who's already out there doing artwork. They go by River Flows Artwork, and their parents were so supportive of them. It was great. They came and they said, oh, I said, hey, I had a little sign that said I do trades. And they said, oh, we didn't bring any artwork, but we've got business cards. And I said, it's great. I'll definitely trade you some business cards and take a look at your stuff. And River does this really cool artwork, and their parents are really supportive and help them to do that and get their name out there. And they were basically just, hey, our kid's going to be an artist. Our kid is already going for it. So that's cool to see. I like that. Sometimes growing up in small town Saskatchewan as a kid, it was not always seen as like a thing you could do. So it's cool to see that. The next thing, this is pretty cool. A couple of patches. I'm gonna have to get myself something to put these patches on. Now the Michaud brothers, it's Mark and Daniel Michaud. They create a comic series. The single smaller issues go by Arc 29. It's sort of this designation for the ship. It's a sci-fi comic, and the collections are called Home. And these patches are absolutely awesome. So I was talking with Mark, who the Michaud brothers are from the Prairies originally, but now are based in Quebec. And I was talking with Mark, who was there, and he said, I'm not a graphic designer, but I feel like these patches turned out pretty nice. And I told him, you fooled me, because I would have said that you probably were a graphic designer when I saw how slick everything was and how nicely designed it was. Could have fooled me. I thought he was a graphic designer for sure. So beautiful, beautiful stuff. And their comic is really cool. It's kind of a coming of age story, deeply linked to sci-fi stories, and really cool and really nice artwork. Mark is really good at that stuff, and Daniel as well. So yeah, these patches are really neat. Moving right along, we're gonna speed through this stuff here. I got a very cool bookmark and zine from Aviva Davis. We're getting into the stuff. So we've gone through, we're talking about creators that I met at the show now and did the trades for. Like Mark was right next door to me. Aviva was just down on the other side of the third floor of the library. It's called Doodly Dudes Doodling. I think when I got this, Aviva and I basically went into a babble fest of, the doodly doodly dudes, the dudes doodling. The dudes that are doodling are doodly dudes. And Aviva's stuff is really cool. I really liked it. I got a kick out of it, out of this, the doodly dudes doodling. And it's just this lovely, lovely zine. Of course, that I'm a sucker. Anytime I see somebody who's putting together this, classic zine style, I always go crazy for it. I just love it. And to see these really cool dudes. These doodly dudes in the doodles. The doodly dudes are doodling. There are the doodly dudes. The doodly dudes are doodling. And it's pretty darn cool. Here are a couple more of the doodly dudes. One saying, one falling through the sky from this side to the other. I'm scared. I'll catch you. That's so cute. Aviva is very nice. So check out Aviva's stuff, please. Aviva was a very nice person, very fun. Another person that was sitting pretty darn close to me, and I got to check out their stuff and do some trades. Brent Fisher. I was amazed to find out after the show ended that the Prairie Comics Fest was Brent's first public comic show that they had done with their stuff. And once again, like Mark saying, "Oh, I'm not a graphic designer," and Brent saying that this is my first show of my stuff. Boy, it didn't look it. His table was like really well stocked with amazing stuff. Lots of stuff too. And it was all looking really good, including this series that he does called Numfucks, which is for mature readers, yes. There's some stuff in here. There's some stuff in here I might not be able to show. Some appendages, some extensions, some things that maybe not everybody can uh, show on a Twitch stream. So I have to be careful. But it's good stuff. It's basically these mutant fellas in the first one here. Hold on, let's make sure. We can look at this part. Oh, no, can't show that. But we can show this. The artwork is awesome, by the way. The artwork on this is so good. Showing these kind of these dudes. These Mr. Numfucks being pretty cool. Yeah, these are awesome. I can't show every page on here just because there's like I said, appendages. But these appendages are pretty cool. This feller's tonsils have mutated, and we watch the two brothers. One of them is cut out. Pretty awful. Pretty neat stuff. And then Num's tonsils escape, and they will return in a future issue of Numfucks. Brent also did a lot of, he had these cool little pinups, little postcards, art cards. And stuff is really good. Like, all of it was really high caliber like this. Like, really great style. We can get this to show it in its best light. So just really awesome line work, really good style, really good texture added to it. You know, the way that the lines are done here elevates it quite a bit. It's good stuff. Yeah, so Numfucks, I really like these little, I don't know if you call these just zines or chapbooks. Maybe a chapbook. These are great. I like this sort of stuff. I like this sort of, you know, I think this is where zines and this kind of stuff, when you get this sort of, you do some subversive stuff, you know, mature reader stuff, and you have these great little volumes of it. There are these great little stories. I get such a kick out of it. Yeah, so Brent's stuff was wild, and you would have thought he'd been showing for years when I saw the caliber of what I saw there. Got 3 pieces here. These came from Madeline. Madeline was really, really nice. We did a trade for these ones as well. 3 pieces here. Harvest Moon, I'm a Little Flea, and fishing lures that I've seen on Marketplace that I can't stop thinking about. Let's start with Harvest Moon. Now, Madeline's style also really quite nice. I love the use of little lines and little, you know, little bits of stippling, little bits of detail. Really makes the page come alive. You know, if you think about how if there had just been these, you know, these bits of foliage without this other stuff, it wouldn't have been as rich. We harvest our finest roots under the guidance of the moon. Scrubbed in the creek, slimy leaves removed. Yeah, look at that, and it's being harvested by tiny, almost little fays, I guess, little fairy people almost. Done in a small pond. Draped to dry over a precarious weave and twig combo. With our slingshot aimed and hats secured, we shoot through the sky. So the little folks attach themselves to grab them a hold of the spoils and launch themselves through the sky, arriving just in time on the moon, on the harvest moon, for our Harvest Moon Space Feast. It's so adorable and just amazing. Madeline's artwork is really quite sublime. Let's look at I'm a Little Flea. I live inside your boot. I like to build structures with your foot dirt. There he is, making dirt castles, little flea, and lick the sweat from your soles. But I like it best when you're in there with me. Almost completely smushing me, but not quite. It's almost like your body can sense that I'm here with you. I continue to lap up your sweat. that one goes almost, I don't know, it's almost like Dark Places. It's still adorable. And here's some cool illustrations of fishing lures that captured Madeline's imagination. The zippy fish with tail. This is not the first creator I've seen who's been fascinated with fishing lures, believe it or not. The squid squisher. Skippy, a 3-hook dangler. The wiggle stick, pack of 10 glowworms. The pull through glide and guide. Oh, that's kind of cool. And the open wide suction fish. And finally, the jointed dancer iridescent flip. Just awesome. I really like Madeline's drawing style. So cool. Moving right along. This is going to be a quick episode today. Always hits YouTube afterwards. If you're watching on YouTube, I do this live on Twitch. If you're watching on Twitch, this is going to be on YouTube. Keep watching my my socials to find out when that happens. Next one here, Ghost Lookers. Now, Christian was really cool. I met Christian and was really, really impressed with this book called Ghost Lookers. Beautiful, beautiful painting. Can I get a good shot of that? Like, just look at the richness. Look at the richness of the color. People who work in this sort of, whether it's a maybe a tempera paint or a watercolor. Kelsey, you would find my YouTube channel down below. Underneath the Twitch thing, should be links to the YouTube. It is just about the same as my handle. I think it's just white, gray, black though on YouTube. So this is about the ghost lookers, who are ghost hunters going to a shipyard looking to see if they're haunted. Really nice style inside. Really, really good drawing. Quite like that. Looking for ghosts at this abandoned shipyard. Looking for the ghosts. Yeah, I like Christian's drawing style. I don't want to give away too much of the story in this one. You should go check out Christian's stuff. It's pretty cool. But it's Olivia here who is on the Ghost Looker show, finding themselves a supernatural beastie to try and speak to and interact with and capture. Yeah, beautiful work. It's really, really nice work. Yeah, great work. Christian should be very, very proud of that one. Beautiful. And the last of the trades that I did, we're going to look at this one by by Cyan Art. Sai, I was talking to Sai about this piece because this does something I really like. I've traded for some cool zines in the past that are similar to this, similar in a way. So what it is that Sai works. I believe they were saying that they do work with a thrift store, I believe, and so they come across a lot of decommissioned library books, and through that they or was it that they do work as a librarian and they get other books, but anyways, the books that they get will often have abandoned things, things in them. So Sai does this series called Leavings, which are the things that have been left in these books that they find. It's you find some really cool stuff in there, like these old postmarks and old stamps. The old $2 stamp with polar bears on it. And finding, old envelopes, actual letters here. It's pretty cool. Let's read this. This will explain it better than I could. Leavings is a collection of papers, promotional material, advertisements, and miscellany that I found in books. I put aside material for Leavings issue 1 between 2017 and 2022. I've written notes on some of the items in the zine, ranging from personal observations to information found via a quick search. What has been left behind and forgotten about spans over the course of many decades, such as the note from the librarian for social sciences at the University of Manitoba, dated from the year 1969. It's been fascinating to find these pieces, and they add to the mystery surrounding the life of these books. I hope you enjoyed viewing these as much as I enjoyed finding them. See you again in Leavings issue 2. I have many things to photocopy. Yeah, so Sai, in looking through these books, I've always been fascinated with that. You'll find there are times where I remember as a kid finding a book in a library and finding a pressed flower in one. And so someone had used this great big book to press a flower and then had forgotten about it. And, I was like, was it a flower for their mom, or was it a flower they meant to give to someone or to put in their room and forgot about it? And yeah, stuff like that is just so amazing. So here's a letter from 1969 from the librarian for social sciences at the University of Manitoba saying, "Here's the books you wanted to rush. I telephoned you for 2 days and couldn't locate you, so I thought it better to send them directly to you. Both books are checked out in your name." Cool. Here's an old book plate that likely would have been handed out to library patrons. So it's actually a printed piece here. Let me see if I can get really close to it. "I enjoy sharing my books as I do my friends, asking only that you treat them well and see them safely home." University of Manitoba Libraries. And it says, "Books are an endangered species. Please handle with care." And that's from 1987 from the Preservation Office. Yeah, amazing. So these things they probably had, they would tuck into a book when you checked it out. It's asking people to please care for their books and treat them with respect. And once in a while people would probably just leave them in the book and then they could get lost in there. Another one about caring for their library. Please asking people not to eat and drink over the books in case you get food on them. Not to put them down on top of things that could damage the binding. Please don't highlight. Please don't use any tape. Handle them with clean hands and not dirty fingers. Don't dog ear it. Do not use paper clips. And removing it from a shelf, please grasp it by the book by the spine rather than up on the binding itself. This is cool. just advertise, just people tucking stuff in. So half of this stuff is probably used as probably makeshift bookmarks, right? I think about all the stuff that I've used as bookmarks in my time, and how often they get left in things. Yeah. So boy, this must be from, yeah, this is from a movie rental place, but I don't recognize the style of it. Could have been, I got some ideas of what it could be. Here's a French advertisement. There's quite a bit of French representation in Winnipeg, I find. So I'm not surprised to see that. A Target discount card, which is very funny because Target did try and launch in Canada for a short time and didn't do so well. I wonder if it's an old one or if it's from the Canadian launch. Here's a, yeah, 1976, this thing here. It's cool. I love found objects. What is this? Someone's notes. Looks like another makeshift bookmark from a place called Wild Rumpus, which is still open in Minneapolis, Minnesota as of April 2023. And then something from Sandman Inns, which is probably from before the turn of the millennia. Oh, look at this. Somebody's notes and an illustration. This is a real treasure to find inside a book. Somebody's hand-drawn illustration. I wonder where that's from. Let's see. Really love this illustration. I made the decision to keep it sideways to preserve its detail. And then there's a handwritten chart of the Cyrillic alphabet along with phonetic pronunciations. Yeah, hi, funny buddy. Yeah, so this stuff is all things that Cy had found inside books while going through them. So like discarded things that probably most of them were used as bookmarks. Here's a weird foil card of whoever this religious figure is. Looks like it's got some Cyrillic. I can't read it. I can't read that, but that's some Cyrillic up there. Yeah, but a foil card lost in a book. An old card catalog card for the wartime journals of Charles Lindbergh. That's cool. I bet you there was a librarian who would have been pretty pissed off to find out that their card catalog card was tucked unceremoniously into a book and not left in the card catalog. That's a thing that librarians really don't like that. This awesome art card. And then a $1 coupon for the University of Winnipeg bookstore. I can't recall if this was just a photo or a photo postcard. I'm looking at it. Oh, it's got the scalloped edges that you'll often see on a postcard. I would guess that this was a postcard. Either way, it's one of their favorite finds. Yeah, I'd like to know where this is from too. It's got that sort of, almost onion style at the top that makes me think it might be like in a Russia-Ukraine, but hard to say. Here's a drawing by artist Tom Hackman called No Fat Madelines. You can technically buy this as an art print if you so desire. Okay, so this is like a art postcard that was tucked in there. The guy eating Madelines with no fat in them. I'd like to know what he was supposed to be thinking. Look at this. I never find stuff as cool as this in books. This piece above is extremely thin, almost like tissue paper. Look at that. With I guess that would probably be Arabic. I don't even know what kind of writing this is. I would assume Arabic, but I think it might not be. I'm not actually sure. Oh yeah, look at this one way down in the corner there. Ex Libris. And this illustration, just it's cool when you find stuff that has where someone's got a cool illustration and gets tucked into a book. Yeah, I'll have to do some searches on some of the stuff. Run like a Google Lens search on some of this. Johannes Fischert. The image to the left was taken from a listing on booklooker.de. So it's a German from Deutschland. Johannes Fischert. I looked into this one, and it's a portrait of Johannes Fischert, from born in 1546 and died in born in 1546, died in 1590, a German satirist and publicist. It seems to have originated from a 1959 republishing of a book called Die Loblichen Umstand und Ergötzlichen Abenteuer des Gilbertritters Gargantua. The Laudable Circumstances and Hilarious Adventures of Gargantua, the Gargle Knight. The listing stated that the republishing translated it into what is, quote, understandable German. This plate in particular is actually called a mounted frontispiece. I no longer recall if this was the book I found it in loose or if it was loose and found in another book. But that's a hell of a find. Yeah, it could be Sanskrit. Yeah, you're definitely right on that one, Galway. Absolutely, it could be Sanskrit. Unsure. I'll have to look into it. Here's a piece here from the Reverend P.T. Pilkey. They had one of the most hardcore plates I'd ever seen. And I quote, "Should anyone by craft or any device whatever abstract this book from its owner, may his soul suffer in retribution for what he has done, and may his name be erased from the book of the living and not be recorded among the blessed." Steal this book at your own peril for your soul. That's amazing. And here's another book plate here. I love book plates. They're just amazing. This book plate features the University of Winnipeg's Wesley Hall. Awesome. And here's a blank book plate that's actually one of many. As in, I found a semi-sealed pack of blank book plates with this design in a book. There's probably 6 to 10 of them in there, and I have yet to use them. I believe that I would have had to glue them down myself rather than them being adhesive backed. And so this is just for someone's own personal library. So you could affix this book plate into your books and have your name on them. And that would be to denote it's from your personal library. Here's a very cute book plate with a couple of cats, a couple of little felines. I made a decision to redact this name as I got the vibes this plate belonged to a child's book, even though they're probably older than me at this point. Kind of funnier that way anyhow. Mysterious. And here's another book plate for Robert Wayant, PhD. This book plate belonged to Robert G. Wayant, who passed away in 2017, who worked at the University of Calgary. He earned his PhD in experimental psychology at the University of Iowa. Yeah, people used to have, custom book plates for their library. It's just that, like, what a cool... We don't have anything quite like that nowadays. Oh, look what we do have. We do have a visitor. Maybe I should get a book plate. Should I get a book plate with you on it? What do you think? Should I get a book plate with you on it? Maybe. Off you go. Here's another one here. This is quite something. Being nurtured. It's a seedling being nurtured from below and from above. I'm unsure who Henry Endress is, but they have a cool book plate. And finally, this book plate is vague in origin. No idea what SAH is, but also very cool. It's like it's weird. It's kind of an angel, but also kind of a demon. I can't tell. Can't tell if this is it's metal as hell. That's awesome. I imagine you could find some cool things by flipping through the pages of thrift store books. Why not? Give it a try. Pretty cool. And below are some writing notes, seemingly about war, hard to decipher, can't determine their political alignment. Let me see, it's from 1994. Oh yeah, it is hard to see. Yeah, I'm going to have to delve into this. Like, it looks like it's someone in the Canadian Air Force. Huh. Quite something. Okay, we've got 2 things left, and then we're going to try to beat the ad and get out of here, and then we'll do some other things. I wanted to talk briefly about the set list. This is one great thing that happened during the Winnipeg show. My new friend Nicholas Friesen, who was gracious enough to put together this 2-volume set of music comic for an anthology, and also surprised me with this really cool custom cassette for the companion album that I'm a part of. I was pretty pumped about this. So this is a little bit of flagrant self-promotion, but just slightly. There's me and about, boy, I don't know, 80 other people in here. The set list is a music comic anthology. The first volume is color comics, including a little something some of you might recognize, my comic about Joe Hill, but also some really spectacular stuff. Really like, look at this one. Look at that. Beautiful, beautiful work in here. Volume 2 is black and white comics, including this one here from a couple of a couple of Calgarians. This is one from Cam Hayden and Aaron Navrati. 2 people I know quite well, fairly well. Really nice piece. And lots of really badass black and white work in here. And like I said, the companion album on which my song, I'm very grateful to have my song Tramp close out the album. That's pretty cool. Pretty pumped about that. Now these were just a limited print, so if you want to get your hands on these, you got to get pretty lucky. I only have copies of the set list volume 1. I've got 9 of them left. I had 14 before the show, and I only have 9 of those left. If anyone, unless you're able to find them, there is an ISDN number on these ones, so it is a thing that you could see if your local store would. I don't know if I can even get that to focus. Just search the set list. Follow the links over there if you're interested in these things. I only got this 1 copy of the set list volume 2 for my own library. But I do have a few of these left if you're unable to find them anywhere else. And I have about 4 of these cassettes. I'm super pumped about that. I was really proud. It was also really cool that in the room at the Prairie Comics Fest, there was myself, there was Nick, and there was Gigi. There was another a Winnipeg-based person who had their piece in there as well. So it was cool to have a few of us contributors all in the room and able to hang out together a little bit. So Nick took a picture of us and put it on his socials, which was pretty fun. And finally, I wanted to talk about Little Moons. There was another really exciting thing that happened at the during this weekend that the Prairie Comics Fest was going on. High Water Press, who is the publisher of this book here, they launched 6 books that weekend. I only picked up Little Moons. But there were some really great other ones. There was The Res Doctor, Between the Pipes, Little by Little, I'm forgetting a few more. We'll take a look at something in a minute just to see if we can if I can show you all the ones that launched. But Little Moons is a really amazing piece. I was lucky enough to have it signed by Jen Storm, the writer, Ryan Howe, who is my good friend I've grown up with my entire life as the artist, and Alice RL, who I met, who is the colorist. And it's a really powerful story that has to do with missing and murdered Indigenous women and girls and two-spirited people, that has a supernatural bent to it. It's a wonderful story. It's a tough story because it deals in the subject matter of missing and murdered Indigenous girls and women and two-spirit. But it's also I think it's hopeful. It's got a hopefulness to it and a supernatural side to it that's quite interesting. Ryan's artwork, as always, is spectacular. The coloring work is really, really wonderful, and Jen's story that they have told in this is really something. So yeah, lovely. It's a lovely book. Let's take a quick glance at the full six that released that weekend. From they did a book signing at McNally Robinson, and it was Little Moons, Little by Little, The Reckoner Rises, Surviving the City Volume 3, We Are the Medicine, The Res Doctor, and Between the Pipes. And each of these books, I wish I could afford to buy all the books that were out there. I had the good fortune of also meeting a few of the people, some of the creators behind this stuff, like David Robertson, who's the writer of Reckoner Rises. I got to meet Getz, who is the writer for the Res Doctor, and I met Tobin, who is the artist for the Res Doctor. Yeah, great folks. Highwater Press is doing some really spectacular stuff. I had the good fortune of being able to talk with some of the folks from Highwater Press and hang out with them a little bit, and they were wonderful people, very gracious, very kind people. Yeah, it was really good. So yeah, that's everything I'm going to show for today. Let's do a quick recap of what we looked at, and then we will move on out of here. And this episode, as always, will go up on YouTube. We had Little Moons from Jen Storm, Ryan Howe, and Alice RL. The Setlist Volumes 1 and 2, edited by Nicholas Friesen, and featuring a comic and a song by yours truly. Leavings Issue 1 from Psy. I love that one. Ghost Lookers from Christian. We had these 3 awesome pieces from Madeline. The Numfuck series from Brent Fisher. Our Doodly Dudes Doodling from Aviva. These amazing patches where I need to figure out where to put these patches from Mark Michaud. We talked about River. The Be a Better Settler from El Zastre. And this really cool piece that I got from, unfortunately I didn't catch their name. Was very happy to trade for that. And that's Prairie Comics Fest. It was a great time. It was good. I hope I can go back next year. Especially because my cousin who lives there, my phone messed up and I didn't get to see them because none of my messages reached them. I was really sad about that. It's always crazy when you're going to an event. Something always goes wrong. Like a cell phone not working and freezing up. But that's how it goes. So as always, like I said, this will hit YouTube. If you're watching on YouTube, I thank you so much for watching. I do this live on Twitch, and I show this stuff there. My name's Charles. If you're watching here on Twitch, you can check it out on YouTube later. If any of these are now your favorite artists and you want to check them out, you can always find it there. And we're going to do some more stuff after the break. But for now, we're going to take a quick break, and that'll be it for the Comic Zone for this week. So I thank you very much for watching.